this computer to desktop 2. Okay. Can everybody see this okay? The next steps slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. So next steps, you've done boot camp prep. You had a lot of fun. You learned a lot of stuff. What do you do next? Um, so the next part of this is practice assessments. We're offering practice assessments because working in HackerRank, which is the website that the boot camp prep, the boot camp admissions test is taken in, is different than the workshops that we've been doing in boot camp prep. It's just a little bit different of an environment. Working on your own is different than like working with solutions and like knowing that you're going to receive some kind of feedback at the end of class. And working with a time limit is a little bit differently than like working at your own pace. So we do a practice assessment just to do like a dress rehearsal. That's my theater background. That's my analogies. Like you do a dress rehearsal, you feel something out, and like a lot of stimuli that might throw you off in a real testing environment. We're going to try to normalize those by just going through it once. We're not offering practice assessments because you should get all the problems right. This is a dress rehearsal. You should stumble and feel clumsy. Like this is the time to like really feel things out. HackerRank is widely used among boot camps and employers. HackerRank, first of all, provides you with a tour describing its features for the first time you take it. So like I'd advise everybody to take the tour. It's like a 3-question test. And it kind of just shows you like, here's how you answer things. Here's how you can console log things. And it's not going to count against your allotted time. It calls your code for you. So unlike kind of the way that we do things in the workshops here, where it has a bunch of written tests that you can see, you won't be able to see the tests. You won't be able to see the calls to your function in this HackerRank, which can be a little bit strange, a little bit off-putting. It hides your console logs and output of your function for some of the test cases. So it prevents anyone from passing all test cases by just doing a console log. You still will be able to do a console log, but it won't show you every single output, every single call. And it prevents you from opening up another browser window. This is where I think we maybe talked about this earlier in the class, but it prevents you, it doesn't really know the difference between you using like a REPL or another place to sort of like type out and get your thoughts straight, and copying code from like a website and then just pasting it in. So my advice is to work it out using HackerRank as best you can. Get comfortable using the environment, and then don't open up another browser window. Just try to work out your thoughts and use comments and work everything out within HackerRank. Practice assessments generally reflect the length and difficulty of the actual assessment. Actual assessments can range from like 4 to 6 questions, and you'll have around 75 minutes. The practice assessment's going to be about that. So it should give you, like, once again, it's a dress rehearsal. You get this amount of time. There should be about this many questions. They will be around the same general level of like increasing difficulty, and it'll all be about stuff in this class, which is cool, in both the real assessment and the practice assessment. Okay, practice assessment number 1. We're going to do right now. The solution video and code are going to be available on LearnDot, but we're also going to go over the questions after we take the practice assessment. It's 100% practice. Full stack will never look at these submissions. It's just for us to do together in this class and to, once again, do a dress rehearsal. Practice assessment two. This is typically called the no risk assessment. It is specifically available to you, bootcamp prep students. You should, I think this has been updated. It used to be available on LearnDot. I'm pretty sure that you'll get an email now that will have a link to this no risk assessment. Full stack will look up the submissions for that second practice assessment. If you do well, you may be offered an opportunity to skip the real assessment and move right on to the verbal part, the interview portion of the uh, admissions. If you need more practice, then you'll just take the real assessment. It's there's no risk, there's no punishment. You could write C just down the line for every question if that's what you felt, and it wouldn't. There's no risk. They wouldn't reflect on you in any way.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there normally a risk? Is there normally a negative aspect if you don't do well on the assessment?
Yeah, so the only risk is that like if you took the test, if you took the written assessment like 3 times within a month and fail it each time, then you'll probably get feedback from someone at Full Stack to say like, hey, listen, you should take a little bit of time, um, and maybe not try to take this like a fourth time this month. Maybe take like, I think they give you like a month or two before you can quote unquote try again. Um, so that's the risk.
So is it? I know you threw out the number three. Maybe you don't know specifically, but
Yeah.
it like if you did take it normally and didn't do well on it, could
Mhm.
you then take it a second time in the
Yes.
next few weeks? It's just multiple times.
Yeah. If you take this no risk assessment on like Sunday, and then you decide that you want to try again on Wednesday, then there's no risk of that. You won't get any feedback to tell you that you should not take the real assessment.
Cool. How long do we have to take the practice assessment? Because I feel like, I mean, not practice, but the
No
second
risk.
one. Yeah, no risk. Because
Yeah, I believe it's a few days. I believe you'll have like the weekend.
okay, all right.
To add on to those questions,
Hmm.
so the next application deadline is this Sunday, the 28th.
Hmm.
Do you think it's possible to take like the no risk assessment, get our results, and if we didn't do well, like is there time to take
Ooh.
another one? Probably
So
not,
here
right?
is what I will say about coding assessments. To be transparent, like I am not really too familiar with like the admissions process and like what their time schedule is, and how quickly they get back to you. Um, but what I will say is that one of the good things about taking a coding assessment is that you know whether or not you got the answers right. So like if there are 6 questions and you get 5 correct and you feel like you want to roll with that, that's like you'll know that you got 5 and 1 wrong. You know what I mean?
I see, I see. I guess I'm just very concerned about the time restraint with these exams. That seems like to be the biggest issue.
The time restraint like that is 75 minutes.
Yeah, it seems short.
Yeah, it's pretty short. I mean, once again, I think I said this a little while ago when we were doing reactos, but like I think your best friend with these is to just write out your comments, write out your approach and lead with that. Do it efficiently, do it with a little bit of a sense of urgency. But if you write out your comments for all however many, and you don't necessarily get to the implementation of all of them, you'll still get credit. Like someone will still read it and say, okay, like this person ran out of time, but they still had the right idea. They still know how to code. They still know the concepts that we're trying to assess here.
Right.
There's partial credit, right?
I believe there's partial credit, yeah. Once again, though, I am not privy to like how specifically they grade things, and what goes into the actual like review of the admissions submissions. That's an interesting couple of words. But yeah, I totally get it with the time crunch though.
I just have a question. You said that we can take the practice assessment 2 multiple times. So I can take it on Sunday like twice if I wanted to, right?
The practice assessment 2, I believe you can only take once.
Oh, then what was the one you said that you can take multiple times?
Well, you can take practice assessment 1, which we'll go through in this class. Maybe I wasn't clear enough when I said that like you can take the no risk assessment, the practice assessment 2, and then also you could say like, you know what, forget that, I'm going to take the real assessment.
So you're saying I could take the real assessment twice, or which one
Yeah, you could take the real assessment multiple times. It won't be the same test,
Yeah.
but like going through the admissions process and like trying again is something that you can do multiple times.
Yeah, so I can take it Sunday and then I can take the real assessment Monday too, right? So that's what you're saying, hypothetically?
You could take whenever you get the no risk assessment, the practice assessment 2, you could take that, and you could also take a real assessment if you wanted.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, if we're taking both these assessments, let's say today, and then we have to apply by the Sunday, I think. So yeah, if we do good on the practice assessment 2, how do we know that like it transfers as our real assessment? Does it say something or?
I mean, I would reach out to admissions. I would reach out to, let me see if I can like get an email. I know that on the website, there's an email about it, like that you can reach out to for admissions. Yes, let's see.
Yeah, not saying like I would pass or something. Just
no, I get why everyone is concerned by like getting it in by a specific date. Oh, here we go. Okay, there's a contact us. There's an admissions. Let's see.
You could always call them too.
You could always call them. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, and also Ian shared the email address on the chat.
And we have Slack, so I think that there might be like, there's definitely a general let's see, admissions. Yeah, if you don't hear anything by like Monday or because sorry, I want to help you. I want to be helpful, but I don't know when you're going to get specifically when you're going to get your link to the practice, the no risk assessment. And I don't really know what their turnaround is. I know that they work Monday through Friday. That is the information that I am privy to as far as the admissions.
Yeah. All right, no problem. Thank you.
I just had
yeah,
one thing. So I sent in the applications and I got the link for the assessment. It doesn't say a date that it needs to be completed by. I just sent in the application because I know the 28th was the deadline. I wanted to get it away before that. So,
Mhm.
but there's no clarification on the assessment on when it should be done. So does that mean we could do it towards the end of next week if we just wanted to revise what we're doing, and then since we're using this assessment to kind of as a proxy for that actual assessment, does it mean we could do that as well, like later in the week next week?
Let me
if we wanted?
understand what you're saying. Are you saying that you received an email from Full Stack saying, "Hey, thanks for like attending boot camp prep. Here is your no risk assessment."
No, this is the application.
The
that I sent
application.
in. So this is the assessment for that.
Okay, cool. So you sent in an application. They gave you back an email with a link that said like, "Hey, you can take this written portion of the assessment."
Yeah, but there's no date on when it needs to be done by.
Yeah, I think for the written portion, for the like the real assessment, it's just whenever you take the test. The test is a like a 75-minute or however long timed assessment. So whenever you submit that, that'll go to Full Stack and it'll drop into their like submissions bucket. As far as the no risk assessment, when I did this, there used to be like a certain amount of time that you could take it. But you won't be able to like revise what you're doing. Once you open it up and do it, it's a test. Like it's a written assessment.
Yeah,
So
but revision as far as like what we covered during the prep,
like a
the
review,
bootcamp
yeah.
prep. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, a review. Like, so we just revise over the questions for like, let's say 3-4 days, and then let's say
Yeah.
next week Wednesday, I wanted to take the assessment too. Would that be possible?
Yeah, if you want to like review for a week and then take the assessment, but like as far as applying or like taking that assessment that you got through that email, that's on your schedule. Like whenever you feel like you're ready and want to take it.
Tandeep, I can add on to this. So I called them today and asked like the exact same question you did. So they were kind of like, the admission was kind of like they were like, you should do it immediately. Like you should do it like as soon as like around the 28th. But they said that since the program actually starts on the 12th, so you want to actually give them some time to kind of like give you the interview and everything. So it's like it's better if you do it like by the 28th. But I guess if you do it by Monday, like I mean, I don't know, it could be wrong, but like you want to give them some time before like the 12th begins, you know? So I mean, I guess Monday would be fine, but like
It-
I think they said 28th. They preferred 28th, like by the 28th. That's what I got from them. I mean, hopefully that's correct, man. But like, I mean, it's on the 12th, so I think they just want everyone to kind of like do it like on time, so they don't have to like they don't want everyone to like just hand it in everything late, so they have to do everything really late. I think like they kind of want everyone, well, most of everyone, to do it by the 28th. That's kind of what the sense I got. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks for
Oh,
that.
sorry.
It
Go ahead.
makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that.
So like, yeah, because I know. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think there's confusion because we weren't given any dates because the email doesn't come right away when you submit the application for the assessment. So if it is the 28th deadline, and if we get the link, let's say Monday, Tuesday, then I guess when somebody has a chance to do it, I don't know, on a Wednesday, it would be okay, I suppose.
Dude, I don't know, but I feel like you should do it earlier because there's you still need an interview and stuff like that, and they need to check like your written assessment and all that. That's why you should do it earlier. That's
Yeah, I
all.
would
Yeah.
just second
Okay. Okay.
trying to
Cool.
do it
Thanks.
before the deadline as possible. And I think Swan had alluded in the chat to taking the assessment at any time. I'm not exactly sure like at what point it would roll over to the next cohort, but that would be the only like repercussion of like waiting, is that they could say, okay, well, you know, it's whatever day. I don't know if we can get you in specifically to this cohort. We'll just bump you to the next cohort. And those are on I believe a 6-week roll, a 6-week delay. Cool.
Sorry, I have another question to
Yeah, hit me.
clarify. So on this current slide, it says if you do well, you may be offered an opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, if you do well, you may not be offered an opportunity as
And-
well?
No, it takes the place of your assessment. You
I
might
see.
have to poke people. Like when I did it, I had to like poke someone and say like, hey, I want this to be my assessment.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
But that's cool. I hope I was helpful in all of this.
You are so.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Because
Yeah.
this is like the one part of like all of this stuff that administrate that like admissions handles, and like I know that I am well aware that like everybody has like deadlines and like certain plans, and that there's timelines on everything. That is not where my strength is as far as this course. So I hope everybody,
Yeah, you're
but
good.
okay, cool, sweet. If you have like questions after this, I can try to hook you up with somebody, or like it was mentioned, like calling admissions will also probably yield you some good results, better results than asking me potentially. Cool. I'm gonna keep moving here just to make sure that we have enough time. So that's the practice assessment 2, which you'll receive in an email. If you wanted to continue to study, here's some suggestions that they have. There's a book called Eloquent JavaScript. Chapters 1 through 5 are. This book is really dense, and I think this book can be hard to understand. There's some really great chapters, but it also extends beyond this course as well. So if you wanted to keep digging in and seeing what JavaScript's all about, I will also grab there's a YouTube, there's a Udemy course that I really like called JavaScript Understanding the Weird Parts. It talks, and it's on YouTube. Like the first 3 hours of it are on there for free. So I'm gonna link that on Slack now for you all. But I really liked it. It's really like plain language. This person describes a lot of things. So there's that. Also, there's this thing called Code Wars, which is it's like you can go on and they have different workshops. Be careful that you don't dive extremely in like advanced problems. They can prevent you from like practicing and mastering like what you need to know right now. And also allows you to check other users' solutions. This is a great opportunity to learn, but a lot of times things get voted on, like it's a popularity contest with like voting on solutions. So sometimes things that get upvoted are like really clever, kind of hard to read solutions. So just be careful of like being like, oh, this is the #1 thing, so this must be the way that I should do it.
Can I say something additionally about Code Wars?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's been kind of my go-to because for me, like anytime anything's like gamified, it really helps me. And you can really get really get used to writing functions with Code Wars. I really enjoy it. But also there are series of more educational basics that you can kind of latch onto. So one like little advice I have for when you're like looking at what problems to do is to search by popularity, because the users they vote on the problems that are the most elemental and like kind of, you want to stay away from some of them because they're like very confusing wording to the actual problem. So there are ways to kind of filter out the bad ones and to get the most out of it.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate
you. You can actually, sorry to.
No, go ahead.
You could actually email the student support about the code wars, and they responded to me. There's with an actual link, and the link that they shared with me was an actual library of the actual test that you could work with that'll actually help with basically help with get that mentality as far as like pseudocode and everything that we've been working on. So if you have trouble finding stuff that kind of correlates with what we've been going over, it actually helped me to just reach out to them, and then they gave me a link directly to what they had.
Cool. That's really cool.
Can you post the link of any chance?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Man. Thank you.
Project Euler is another assessment, like test coding ability thing. Some takers report feeling like comfortable with coding concepts, but not with some of the analytical problem solving that was required. So this is another, some people like it, some people don't. I also personally, like, I just Googled problems. I would be like JavaScript recursion problems. So you can do things on YouTube too, like just Googling and trying, like taking the words and the terms that we've had in this class and combining them with other search terms will like find you some interesting stuff, and it's finding whatever works for you. And the REPL.it is my favorite personally. And then like a personal project, this is huge actually, and I think that like this will help you more than anything. Just try to like figure out a small project that you can pick up, and then use the things in this class to solve it. To me, that's the most fun. Like build a tic-tac-toe board, or like the Sudoku solution. Like games are super fun. Like I really like Dungeons and Dragons. So like coming up with like a simulator of die rolls and like monster stats, that was super fun to me, and like got me using things like objects and arrays and different types of functions in like a way that was different than like a test. That was when I felt the most like I was a developer. And it was the way that I, like, because there was no direct answer, because there was no like trick to figuring out the thing, that was where, to me, like personally, like that's where I felt like I really grew the most. Admissions questions, man, it would help if I read all the slides all the time. Admissions questions, you can, you know what, why don't I do this? Let's screenshot this and put it in the Slack. Boom, there we go. Admissions questions. And then finally, a quote by Bob Ross: "Talent is a pursued interest. Anything that you're willing to practice, you can do." Yeah, I really like that. I mean, like I have a bunch of like big opinions about code and this process of going from not being in tech to being in tech. We can speak on those later. Why don't we, I want to make sure that we have enough time for us to like do the practice assessment and then go over the slides, or go over the solutions afterwards. So with that,